When the sun goes down and the world becomes quiet, that's when everything begins. During the day, everything looks normal. I go about my routines just like everyone else. But when night falls and the house is silent, something inside me wakes up. My heart beats a little faster. My mind fills with images, shapes, colors, light. It's as if the night gives me permission to become who I truly am. I wait until the whole way is dark, the voices have stopped, and the only sound left is the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. That's when I quietly reach under my bed and pull out the old wooden box. Inside it are my brushes, my paints, and a small stack of blank pages. I carry them to the corner of my room, next to the window where a sliver of moonlight shines through. That tiny beam becomes my spotlight, and my room becomes my studio. With each stroke of the brush, something magical happens. It feels like my hand is connected to my soul. I don't think, I don't plan. I just paint. Trees with golden leaves, skies that burn with pink and orange, people with laughter in their eyes. Everything that I feel but never say out loud ends up on the paper. These are the moments when I feel free, when I feel real. It's like speaking a language that only I understand, a language I was born to speak. No one knows about this part of my life, not my friends, not my family. To them, I'm quiet, maybe even a little shy. I listen more than I speak. I nod, smile, and stay in the background. They see only what I let them see, but this secret part of me, it's the truest part of who I am, and for now, I want to keep it safe. Sometimes I wonder why I hide it. Maybe it's fear that someone will laugh, or worse, tell me it's not good enough. Maybe it's because my paintings come from a place so deep that sharing them would feel like sharing my heart. And hearts are fragile. Once you show them to someone, you can't take them back. But even in the quiet of my room, I can feel something growing. A small, brave part of me wants to be seen. Not just for how I look or how I behave in the day, but for the colors I carry inside. I imagine what it would feel like to hang one of my paintings on a wall where others can see. I imagine someone standing in front of it, pausing, feeling something, maybe even smiling. That thought both scares me and fills me with warmth. Every painting I make adds to a secret world, a world that's mine and mine alone. Some nights I lose track of time. The sun starts to rise and I'm still holding a brush, lost in a scene I created from nothing. Those are the mornings when I feel tired in my body but full in my spirit, like I've lived two lives in one night, the ordinary and the extraordinary, and even though no one knows, that's okay. Because for now, the silence of the night, the rhythm of the brush, and the colors that spill from my fingers are all I need. Each painting is a whisper of who I really am, and maybe one day I'll find the courage to let the world hear it too. Until then, I'll keep painting in the shadows, letting my secret shine quietly in the dark. There's something strange about having a dream that burns so brightly inside you, yet feeling like you have to hide it. I think about it all the time, what it would be like to show someone my art, to hear what they think, to see their face when they look at it. I imagine walking into a room where my paintings are hanging on the walls, where people are talking about the colors, the emotions, the meaning. It's such a beautiful thought, but it always ends the same way, in silence, because right behind that dream is a heavy shadow. It whispers questions that I don't know how to answer. What if they don't like it? What if they laugh? What if they don't understand it at all? That fear of not being enough, of being misunderstood, it creeps in every time I think about stepping out of the dark. It's strange, really. I create from the deepest part of myself. Each painting is like a secret I've finally dared to tell, but only to the paper, only to the brush. I pour my feelings into the colors and the shapes. I paint the things I can't say out loud. That makes them precious to me, but it also makes them fragile. Sharing them would be like handing someone my heart and hoping they don't drop it. Sometimes I hold a finished painting in my hands and think, maybe this is the one. Maybe I'll show this one to someone. I stand there, frozen, imagining all the things they might say. I want to believe they'll understand, that they'll see something special. But just as quickly, another thought appears. What if they say it's childish? What if they don't feel anything at all? And just like that, I tuck the painting away, hidden with the others. I don't think people realize how hard it is to want to be seen, but also fear being seen too clearly. It's like standing at the edge of a diving board, ready to jump, but something inside keeps pulling me back. The dream is right there, just within reach, but so is the risk, and sometimes the risk feels too big. I wonder if others feel this way too. Maybe there are dancers who dance alone in their rooms, singers who sing into their pillows, writers who never let anyone read their words. Maybe the world is full of secret artists, just like me, each one carrying a quiet dream they're too afraid to share. It's not that I want to be famous or celebrated. I just want to be understood. I want someone to look at my work and feel what I felt when I created it. I want to connect, not through words, but through colors and silence and light. I want my art to speak where I cannot. But the thought of someone turning away, or worse, not feeling anything at all, that's what keeps me quiet. Still, the dream doesn't go away. It stays with me like a soft light, flickering just beneath the surface. It's in the way I look at the world, and how I notice shadows on the walls, the way sunlight touches leaves, the stories hiding in people's faces. Art lives in me whether I share it or not. But sometimes I wish I could be braver. I wish I could believe that being seen wouldn't hurt so much. I've thought about what it would be like to hear someone say, "I see you, I feel this too." Maybe one day I'll find the courage to let that happen. Maybe one day the dream will feel bigger than the fear, but for now I carry it close to my chest. I hold it gently like something not yet ready to fly. And even though no one else knows I do, I know how much it means to me. I know what it's like to create in silence and to dream in secret, and that in itself is something beautiful. During the day, I blend in. I keep my head down, smile politely, and go through the motions just like everyone else. I'm the quiet one, the one who always listens, who never causes trouble, who stays in the background where it's safe. I answer when I'm spoken to, nod when someone shares something, and never say too much. People see me as calm, maybe even a little boring, but they don't know what lies just beneath the surface. I've gotten used to it, wearing this quiet version of myself like a coat. It keeps things simple. No questions, no attention. I walk through school halls, sit in classrooms, pass time at dinner tables. No one suspects there's anything different about me, and that's exactly the way I've made it. But when the sun goes down, everything changes. At night, when the house is still and no one is watching, something inside me wakes up. It's like flipping a switch. The quiet girl disappears and a new version of me takes her place, one who doesn't hide. One who creates. That's when I become someone else, not completely, but more fully. That's when I become the secret artist. It always starts the same way. I close my door gently. I wait a few minutes to make sure no one is coming back up the stairs. Then I move to the corner of my room where my art supplies are tucked away. The brush feels familiar in my hand, like a part of me that only comes alive at night. I dip it in color, press it against paper, and suddenly I'm not quiet anymore. My art is loud, even if I'm not. It bursts with emotion and energy. I don't hold back. I paint what I feel, what I dream, what I wish I could say out loud. In those late hours, I am bold. I am fearless. I bring to life images that only exist in my mind until I set them free. With every stroke, I feel myself becoming more real. This hidden version of me, she's passionate, she's alive, she's not afraid of what people will think because no one is looking. And maybe that's why I can do it, because in the dark, in the quiet, I feel safe enough to be honest. There's something beautiful about having a world no one else knows about, something that's just mine. While others are scrolling on their phones or falling asleep, I'm breathing life into scenes and stories that only exist because I created them. My fingers are often stained with paint. My eyes are tired but bright. I lose track of time, and sometimes the moon is already slipping behind the trees before I finally stop. It's strange how different I feel at night. It's not about the darkness itself. It's about the freedom it gives me. There's no pressure to be anything, no expectations to meet. Just me, the brush, and the paper. I can be wild, I can be messy, I can be exactly who I am, and yet when the morning comes, I fold everything back up again. I tuck the paintings away, I wipe the colors from my hands. I put on my ordinary self like a costume and return to the world, quiet and composed, just as they remember me. No one knows the girl from the night before. No one sees the fire she carries in her hands. Sometimes I wonder what would happen if the two sides of me could meet. If the quiet girl of the day and the bold artist of the night could somehow become one, would I be braver? Would I speak with more color in my voice? Would I still be afraid? But for now, this is how I live. A quiet girl by day, unnoticed and simple, and a secret artist by night, full of passion and light. One day, maybe I'll stop hiding. One day, maybe the art won't need the cover of darkness. But until then, the night will remain mine. It happened without warning. I wasn't planning to show anyone. I never do. That painting wasn't even one I was proud of. It was something I had rushed, something unfinished. I had placed it near the window to let it dry, tucked behind the curtain where no one would notice. At least, I thought no one would. The morning had been like any other. I went through the usual motions, quiet and careful, keeping everything hidden just like always. But sometime during the day, when I wasn't looking, the curtain shifted. Maybe it was the breeze, maybe it was fate. All I know is that painting, the one I never meant for anyone to see, was suddenly out in the open. Later I walked into the room and froze. There it was, no longer hidden. And someone was standing in front of it. I felt a rush of panic. My heart raced. My mouth went dry. I wanted to reach out, to pull the painting back, to pretend it wasn't mine, but it was too late. Their eyes were fixed on it, not with confusion or amusement, but with stillness. With focus. They weren't laughing, they weren't judging, they were just looking. Something about their expression made me pause. It wasn't the usual polite interest people fake when they don't know what to say. It was real, thoughtful, almost like they saw something I didn't even realize I had put there. They didn't say anything right away. They just stood there, breathing in the colors, the shadows, the feeling. And then softly they asked, "Did you make this?" I hesitated. For a moment I thought about lying. I thought about shaking my head and walking away, but instead I nodded. There was a long silence, and I braced myself for whatever would come next. But it wasn't what I expected. There was no criticism, no awkward smile, no forced compliment, just quiet words that somehow reached a part of me I'd kept locked away for so long. "It's beautiful," they said. "There's something in it that feels honest." That one word, honest, did something to me. It felt like a key turning, like someone had just opened a door I'd been standing behind for years. They didn't just see the painting, they saw me. I didn't know what to say. For the first time, I felt exposed but not embarrassed, vulnerable but not small, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone in my world. I realized someone else could stand in it with me, and not break it. We talked not just about the painting, but about the feeling behind it. I told them things I'd never said out loud before, about how I paint in secret, how I hide everything I create because I'm scared of what people might think. And they listened, not out of curiosity, but with real understanding. They didn't tell me to stop hiding, they didn't push. They just reminded me gently that sometimes what we hide the most is what others need to see the most. I kept thinking about that moment for days after, not just the fact that my painting had been seen, but how it had been seen, not as a mistake or a hobby, but as a piece of something that mattered. That small, accidental discovery became something much bigger than I could have imagined. It didn't change everything overnight. I didn't suddenly start showing all my paintings to everyone, but it changed something inside me. It planted a seed of confidence, a quiet voice that whispered, maybe it's okay to be seen. Maybe what I create has meaning, not just for me, but for someone else too. And that one person, the one who paused, looked closer, and really understood. They gave me something I didn't even know I needed, permission. Permission to believe in myself even just a little. Permission to think that maybe my art deserves a little light after all. That was the first time I truly felt like I had been found. It's strange how a few simple words, gentle ones, kind ones, can change everything you believe about yourself. For so long, I thought of my art as something I needed to protect, something too delicate for the outside world. I didn't think anyone would understand it, let alone value it. I created in secret, not because I didn't love it, but because I didn't believe it was worthy of love from others. But after that one painting was seen, truly seen, something inside me shifted. At first it was just a feeling like the tiniest crack in a wall I had spent years building, but then came the words I didn't expect. Words that felt soft and warm, like sunlight on skin after a long winter. They said things like, "You have something special, and your work makes me feel something," not in a loud or dramatic way, but with honesty. And it wasn't just what they said, it was how they said it, without judgment, without pressure, just kindness. At first, I didn't know how to accept it. I'd grown used to doubting myself, to questioning every line I drew and every color I chose. Even after I heard those encouraging words, a part of me still wondered if they were just being nice. But the more we talked, the more I realized they meant it. They weren't just looking at the painting. They were looking at me, and they believed in what they saw. That was something new, belief, not from the outside world, but inside me. A tiny spark, and I didn't even notice it at first. But slowly, I began to see my art differently. I started to think, maybe I'm not just imagining this dream. Maybe there's a reason I feel so alive when I paint. Maybe this means something. That encouragement gave me space to breathe. It gave me permission to stop hiding so much. I still painted at night, still kept most of it to myself. But now there was a difference. I wasn't painting out of fear or escape. I was painting with hope. I was no longer just trying to protect my art. I was starting to believe it might actually deserve to be shared. Kindness has a way of softening all the harsh voices in your head. It doesn't shout. It doesn't force you to change. It simply stays with you, quietly reminding you that you're more than your doubts. That you're capable, that your voice, no matter how quiet, is worth hearing. For the first time, I wasn't just painting to feel free. I was painting because I believed I had something real to offer, and that belief, however small at first, began to grow. It gave me the courage to show another painting, then another, not to a crowd, not to the world, but to someone I trusted. Each time I shared something, it felt a little less scary, a little more possible. There's something powerful about being encouraged by someone who doesn't want anything from you. someone who simply wants you to see what they see, that you have something beautiful inside you and it's worth bringing to light. That kind of support doesn't try to fix you, it doesn't push. It just reminds you that you've already got everything you need. You just have to believe it. Looking back now, I realize how much that one voice changed everything. Not because it gave me talent, I already had that, not because it handed me confidence, but because it showed me how to find it for myself. That's what real encouragement does. It doesn't give you answers. It helps you ask the right questions. What if I can? What if this matters? What if I'm more than I thought? I still have moments of doubt. I still hesitate. But now, when I stand in front of a blank page, I don't feel fear first. I feel possibility. Because someone saw something in me before I could see it myself, and they didn't try to convince me. They just waited until I was ready to believe. It didn't happen all at once. It was slow, like the sun rising behind a foggy morning. For a long time, I held my art close, still unsure if I was ready to let it breathe outside the quiet corners of my room. But something had shifted. The kindness, the encouragement, it stayed with me, quietly working through the doubt until one day, hiding didn't feel safe anymore. It felt heavy, so I chose a moment, a small one, a school art display, nothing grand, nothing loud. I submitted one painting anonymously, just to see what would happen. It was the first time my art stood alone in a room where strangers could walk past and look. I didn't stand near it. I didn't tell anyone it was mine. I just watched from a distance, my heart pounding like it might burst from my chest. And then it happened. Someone stopped, then another. I saw their faces change. Their expressions softened, their eyes moved across the canvas slowly. Some smiled, one even reached for their phone, taking a photo. That's when it hit me. They were connecting with something I created. Not because they knew it was mine, but because it spoke to something inside them. That quiet moment gave me more courage than I expected. I started to share more, one piece at a time, and this time with my name on it. At first it felt terrifying, like walking into a room full of people and opening your diary for them to read, but the more I did it, the more I realized I wasn't alone. People started coming to me, not just to compliment the art, but to tell me about themselves. One girl said she used to write poetry but stopped because she was afraid no one would care. Another said he used to sing when no one was around, but had never told anyone. A few even said they had been watching quietly and were now thinking about starting again, whatever it was for them. That's when I understood something I hadn't before. Sharing my art wasn't just about me. It wasn't just about expression or validation. It was an invitation, a quiet message to anyone else who was holding something beautiful inside them, but was too scared to show it. I didn't need to stand on a stage or shout from rooftops. I just needed to be honest, to show my true self without apology, and in doing that, I gave others permission to do the same. I wasn't expecting that. I had always thought that being seen meant being judged, but what I found instead was connection, not just through art, but through courage. The more I opened up, the more stories I heard. People told me about dreams they'd buried, hobbies they missed, talents they never thought were good enough. And I'd listen, nodding, because I knew that feeling so well, that ache of having something to share but feeling like the world might not want it. But it turns out the world is filled with people quietly waiting for someone to go first. I still paint at night sometimes, not because I'm hiding, but because that's when my mind is the clearest. The difference now is that my paintings don't stay in the dark. They find their way into the light, into the hands and hearts of people I never thought I'd reach. And every time someone tells me, "Your art made me want to create again," I smile, because I know what it means to hold a dream in silence, and I know how powerful it is to finally let it speak. Thank you for being here with me. If you've listened all the way to the end, then you already know. This wasn't just a story about art. It was a story about fear, about hope, about the quiet voice inside us that wants to be heard, even if we're afraid. For a long time, I thought hiding was the only way to protect what mattered most to me, but through secret nights and quiet dreams, through fear of judgment and the gift of unexpected encouragement, something changed. Bit by bit, I found the courage to share my gift. And in doing that, I found parts of myself I never knew were waiting. And maybe, just maybe, you have something hidden inside you too. A song, a drawing, a story, a dream, whatever it is. I hope this story helped you believe it matters, because it does. What we keep inside has the power to light up the world, if we're brave enough to let it shine. So, if you're still hiding your talent, it's okay, but when you're ready, know this. Someone out there is waiting to be inspired by you, just like someone once waited for me. Thank you for listening, and remember, your voice, just like your gift, is worth sharing.